Hi everyone and welcome to our next edition of the Google Plus PR Community Expert Hangouts. Today we are so privileged to have with us Guy Kawasaki, who's going to be teaching us about how to use Google Plus to build a platform. And of course, after his presentation, we will ask him a few questions with our featured guests you can see below. And we'll talk a little bit about his new book, Ape. And if you're wondering what Ape stands for, stay tuned to the end of the Hangout.
So, my
take it
name is
away,
Guy
Guy.
Kawasaki. Good morning. And I would like to just show you how I use, in particular, Google Plus, but generally speaking, social media, in order to generate more followers, more people who've circled me, etc. First, a little philosophical discussion. I use social media as a means to an end, and for me, the end is to be able to use social media to promote things, my books, my companies, whatever I'm doing, as well as those of my friends. So for me, social media is a means to an end. That freaks out a lot of people right there because they think social media is, this kumbaya, e-harmony, making friends and all that. I have a more practical or more tactical way to use social media than that. And so the philosophical framework that I use is NPR. And so NPR to me is a site and a radio service, obviously, where you get great content, and you get great content 365 days a year. My favorite show is Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. And so, the way NPR works in my mind is they provide such great content, and so every once in a while they run a telethon, and in fact they're in the middle of a telethon right now. I can't tell you that I like the telethon, I can't tell you that I look forward to the telethon, but I tolerate the telethon, and indeed I even give money because the NPR has earned that right. They provide such great content, and so I feel like I should reciprocate and tolerate the telethon, if not also give money. And so that's how I approach social media. I want to provide such great content all the time that every once in a while when I come out with a book or I want to promote a company, you don't mind that there's an ad in the middle of all my curation. So that's my philosophical perspective. Whether you agree or not is different, but that's what I try to do. And I used to be a very active blogger, but I have to tell you, after blogging for about 3 years, I literally ran out of stuff to write, and I didn't have any more good ideas. So I had to make this transition from a blogger to a curator, and so that's what I do now. So I'll give you a quick tour of what I do. I think the logical place to start with is the profile. Let's go edit profile here. And my thinking here is that, let's start with this picture. This picture, I think the purpose is to primarily show your face, that you are in fact a person that's likable and trustworthy. I can't tell you I like the avatars where there's bunches of people with their dogs, people with their cars, people with the sunset, all that kind of stuff. I think the primary purpose is show your face so that people know who you are. The ones with multiple people, have you ever seen an avatar with 2 or 3 people and you're wondering, well, which one is he or which one is she? So in this particular picture, I kind of violate my own recommendation because I could crop it more so it's more of my face. But this is a very enchanting moment in my life. I'm actually on the roof of the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul. So this is where Skyfall was shot. So I got special access to that roof. I was wearing my Ape shirt, and so I use this as my avatar. I happen to think that Istanbul is probably the most enchanting city in the world. So now I tell people that I was on site searching for places to shoot the new movie Guyfall, which follows the guy who loved me, and other James Bond series that I participate in. So that's my avatar. Over here, there's 2 choices here. You can have 5 pictures or you can have a cover photo. What I have elected to do is not, quote unquote, upgrade to cover photo. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to show people who have the Ape t-shirt and have read the Ape book. This is of the principle of social proof that I'm trying to show people that, lots of people have my book and stuff. I'm also trying to take care of 5 friends here. So I have a lot of pictures of people in ape shirts, and I just rotate these every few weeks. Um, Tagline, I think this is just an elevator pitch, what you do, and introduction, quick bio, this is the continuation of the pitch. So in 30 seconds, I'm trying to explain what I do here and who I am. And these things are just trying to build credibility, my background, all this. I think that many people, they decide who to circle, who to follow, who to favorite, who to fan, based on the avatar and reading this stuff. And so I think a lot of people don't pay enough attention to this. In particular, I'm a little harsh this way, but when I see a Google Plus profile and the picture is out of focus, taken with a Nokia cell phone that's 10 years old with red eye, that's already a thumbs down. And then over here, if they have not changed the cover photo or added 5 photos, it's that stock green one, the huge bokeh-looking circles. What goes off in my mind is that person is clueless, doesn't know how to use social media, not worth dealing with. So tips number 1 are, front and center face avatar, and put some interesting pictures here. I think this shows your face. This can tell your background story. This is where you put your picture of your dog with you, your surfboard with you, the sunset, holding hands, all that kind of stuff. So enough about the profile. Now what I try to do is constantly provide good stuff. And so what you see here is something that I thought was very interesting. This is The Economist, and The Economist every year calculates the value of currency based on how much a Big Mac costs in your country compared to America. So America is taken as 0, the baseline, and then different colors tell you whether your currency is worth more than the dollar or less than the dollar because a Big Mac costs more or less in your country. And so I'll explain in greater detail what I have here. So this Friday 05, this is telling people that this is the 5th post that I've made today. The reason why I put this in here is because I have this fantasy that people will see that, oh, it's the 5th post Guy gave today, and I haven't seen the other 4, so maybe I should click on his name and go back into his timeline and see the other 4, because he always posts great stuff. Like I said, it's a fantasy, but it can't hurt that people know that they missed 4 of my previous posts that day. Over here you see a link. I always link to the source. I never just grab the photo. I never grab the article and post the whole thing. I'm always trying to drive traffic to the original source. I think that's the ethical thing to do. And so I want The Economist to be happy that I sent traffic to them. I always include a picture. Every post that I do, if you look at them, for example, this post, this is Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio. This is a story about what makes a great smile. So this was my 3rd post of the day. This link goes back to The Atlantic, where this article is, and I strongly believe you have to give a photo credit. That's just good ethics. And then I'm using DoShare to do these things. So what DoShare does is it allows me to schedule Google Plus posts in advance. So this is the anatomy of one of Guy's posts. The number, 1-sentence introduction, link to the original source, photo credit, done with DoShare. So that's what I do. I try to do that 5 to 10 times a day. Again, because I want people to think, oh, he always posts great stuff. I should reshare. I should +1. I should tell my friends to follow him. So now the question becomes, well, how did you find this Big Mac valuation index story? How did you find this story about Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe about a great smile? How did you find this story about Evernote? How did you find this story from NPR about how many birds cats kill a year, which a very interesting number. Domesticated and feral cats kill about 1.4 to 3.7 billion birds per year, which is kind of an amazing number. So so you want to know, how did I find all these stories? and how did I decide to post them. So I a little bit of conflict of interest here, but a while ago I started a company called Alltop, and what Alltop does is it aggregates information by topics. And so let's just start with this place here. This is my Alltop. And so what we allow you to do with Alltop is to create your own collection of RSS feeds based on the feeds that are in Alltop. So we'll start with a generic one first. So let's say that you wanted to find social media. And so social media, this is socialmedia.alltop.com. And so this is all the blogs we can find about social media. And if you highlight a story, it shows the first paragraph of the story, so you can decide if you actually want to click through and go to the story. And so I think this is one of the fastest ways to stay on top of a topic, because you can scan the last 5 stories of all these blogs in one place. So this is where you use Alltop by topic, but you can also create your own custom Alltop, and this is what I do. So I'll go through the process of creating a Google Plus post. So I go to my Alltop page, and some of my most favorite sources of things to post is In Focus, which is photo essays, and also The Big Picture, which is photo essays. So let's take one like Sun City Seniors, which sounds like an interesting story. So this is a photo essay about senior citizens in Sun City, and so there's, I guess, the sheriff. So this is, I would call this a kind of an enchanting picture. Hard to resist something like this. What I will do is I will take a screen capture of this picture this way, and I'll just call this seniors. Oops. Let me just do that again. I did that wrong. And let me put this on my desktop. Okay, so now I've decided that I like this story. I like this picture. Let us grab the photo credit here, Lucy Nicholson from Reuters. And I will use DoShare. DoShare is a Chrome extension that enables you to post things later. I grabbed DoShare here. What DoShare just did is it opened up a window, it grabbed the story, it grabbed the picture, and I will drag this up here. That's the link to the story. I'll write a little caption, photo essay of seniors. That's the link. I will add the picture and go to the desktop here, add seniors picture. That sucks it in there. Give the photo credit. The photo credit goes to Lucy Nicholson. Remove that leading. Now, I can schedule this picture to do it days from now. In this case, I'm not going to schedule it. I just wanted to show you the schedule dialog. You could schedule it in advance, and in fact, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to post it right now. And so we go back to my line here, and basically that's the picture. So photo essay of seniors, linked to the original source, giving photo credit, shared using DoShare. This is the picture, and boom, that's it. Now, what I have going on here is after I post it like this, I have a virtual assistant who goes and grabs this post and reposts it manually into Facebook. We sometimes do it manually, and we sometimes do it with Buffer, because Buffer works with LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, but it does not work with Google+. So I use DoShare with Google+, and then a virtual assistant schedules it into Buffer to put it into LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Okay? So going back here to Google+, basically that's what I do. So I am constantly on my Alltop looking for interesting stories. When I find an interesting story, I manually post it to Google Plus. You saw the process, and then a virtual assistant then puts it into Buffer and posts it on other places. And so, Sarah, how long do you think that's a good enough uh, demo of what I do?
I think that's great. I'd also like to see, so you mentioned you have the virtual assistant and you showed us how you automate that.
Yep.
Any tips or tactics for how you get other people to reshare the content that you're posting, things that you've learned over time?
Well, my greatest tip for that is, generally speaking, post good stuff. I, I, I am often in the what's hot on Google Plus, and in fact, if I don't make what's hot once a day, I get all depressed. So what I try to do is always post great stuff, and I think one key is every Google Plus post should have a picture and an embedded video. And if you don't do that, I mean, it's just hard to compete with all the other eye candy. So that's one tip. And I can tell you that things with animals get shared a lot. I can tell you that if you discuss gun control, you'll get hundreds of comments, many from just nutcases. If you discuss pro-choice versus pro-life, you'll get lots of nutcases. If you discuss Barack Obama, you'll get lots of nutcases. I mean, so sometimes when I know I'm going to get a lot of nutty responses, I actually turn off comments because I feel that just pisses them off even more when I turn off the comment. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think that's great, but also uh, just the tactic for continuously sharing for those of us who perhaps it's not our full-time job or we are content creators for our companies.
Yes.
You know, do we send out information in bulk? Is it better to schedule over time?
Yes.
Any tips like that as well?
Sure. So I believe, although I don't exactly have science to prove it, I believe that the optimal times for me to post are, the best time is Monday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific. But I generally believe the best time is weekday mornings, Pacific time. And I try not to post after 10 p.m. Pacific because at 10 p.m. Pacific, that's when, shall I say, certain southeast countries, everybody's awake. And so that's the time that you get the most one-word, stupid, or spammy comments. So when Southeast Asia is sleeping is when I like to post. Not to be racist or anything. There's it's just objective observation that when Southeast Asia is awake, I get a lot of posts that say hi, 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 cute, 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 and I'm trying to get rid of those things. Um, I can show you some stuff that I think or I can discuss it. Every Google Plus user should have in terms of extensions.
That would be awesome. And then I know that you've had large online networks for some time, much longer than before Google Plus. But any tips of how, in addition to the content, that you're building up your community there? I mean, is it related to promotion from the book? Is it because people are finding Alltop and then discovering you and joining you on Google Plus? Any thoughts about that?
Uh, well, in a sense, I have a total of about 5 million followers if you added up Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, Pinterest, all these things. And so a lot of people say, yeah, guy, your recommendations are very good if you have 5 million followers, but I don't have 5 million followers. What do I do? Well, my answer is it took me 30 years to get 5 million followers. So, you've been on Google Plus for 2 weeks now. What do you want from my life? Um, And the second thing is I literally spend a few hours a day doing this. So, getting on Google Plus is not something that I do as a hobby. It's not something that I do for fun. It is what I do. It's my business. It's like, you could look at Michael Jordan and say, Michael Jordan, man, it must be fun. You go out and play basketball all day. Well, Michael Jordan, shoots free throws 4 hours a day because that's his job. So, that I do. So shooting free throws for Michael Jordan is like me posting on Google Plus. Not that I'm saying I'm Jordan-esque on Google Plus. I don't want to get any coil moments here. So that's what I do. It's a lot of work, and again, it's because social media is a means to an end for me. I have 4 kids, 1 wife, 1 dog, 2 chickens, 4 lizards, 2 turtles. I don't need any more friends. That's just not where I'm coming from. I'm 58 years old. I can barely keep track of the friends and family I have now.
I totally understand. I'm so
Maybe I should turn off screen share so people can see my face, huh?
that would be awesome. But I would love to hear about some of the plugins that you're using. Obviously, Chrome is here. You don't have to show screen share if you want, but if you want to mention some of them, that would be awesome.
Let me turn on screen share again, and this is very disorienting to see yourself, and you're wondering, okay, so now you see this open window, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go to my extensions here. So I will tell you that the extensions that I cannot live without for Google+. So one is Buffer, well, for social media in general. One is Buffer, and Buffer allows me to schedule things in advance for Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Another is DoShare. So DoShare is the one that I showed you that allows me to schedule for Google+. Evernote Web Clipper is not for social media, but it's essential for me as an author. I have, what's another? Nuke Comments. I love Nuke Comments. So what Nuke Comments does, it enables you to, in one click, to block a person, delete the comment, and report the person. And that is the trifecta of getting rid of trolls. One click, block, report, and delete. I love that. And the other one I consider absolutely essential is Replies and More. So let me show you what Replies and More does. For the life of me, I don't know why Google doesn't build Replies and More in. So if you look here, it is one of the keys to, I think, getting more interaction and engagement is when you comment to somebody or respond to somebody, that person has to know that you did that. And I think you can significantly increase the probability that someone knows that you contacted them by, in fact, giving them notification. So how do you do that? Well, on Google+, you do that by doing a plus mention, where you don't simply write the name, but you also type the plus so that Google+ finds it. So in this case, Ramsey Borriega, who incidentally has a lousy cover photo here, Ramsey put this one word nice, and so if I wanted to respond to Ramsey, one way is to just do this, and I don't even want to. I could just do that, right? But this is just plain text, so Ramsey wouldn't see it. So it's much better to do plus Ramsey, and now that's not plain text. Ramsey will get a Google+, a Gmail notification. But it's a pain in the ass to type the plus sign, so the beauty of Replies and More is it puts this little reply word in there. So when you click on this, notice with one click, it's plus mentioned, or he's plus mentioned. And so if you use Replies and More, and if everybody would use Replies and More, now if they wanted to reply to the author, i.e. me, instead of typing in plus Guy Kawasaki, they just click on, and it flips it around and does plus Guy Kawasaki. So I think this is just crucial to the successful use of Google+, so that when you reply to someone, they get a Gmail notification, and when someone replies to you, you know that you've been replied to. and replies and more is just essential for my use of Google+.
That is amazing instruction for us. I really, really like that, and I can't wait to try out the extensions that you mentioned. I want to open up the floor now to our featured guests. So these are our contest winners, Guy.
Okay.
They all competed for a chance for one of these seats to interact with you. So we can either go in order, or if you don't have a question, you can take a pass. But if you do have a question, I invite you to unmute your microphone and go ahead and ask away. So whoever gets it first.
Hi, I'm Jen Reeves. I'm the social media trainer for the AARP. How cool is that?
You are.
And it's a pretty new gig, and I am trying to teach a lot of people the skill of listening and engaging, and a lot of it comes down to real simple lists and RSS building. So I'd be curious, what are your most powerful ways to build a good base? And you've got your all top, but what are other places where you build lists and listen?
Are you saying build good lists to listen to feedback to the AARP or
topics that matter to you? So, I use circles that way in Google+, and lists with Twitter, interest lists in Facebook, RSS feeds. What do you think? Are RSS feeds your most powerful listening tools? What do you think? What are your best ways to listen?
Well, I think listening can be divided into two groups. So one is, I'm listening about what people are saying specifically about me or my book. And for that, to this day, I use Google Alerts. For listening to topics as opposed to what people are saying about me, I use Alltop because Alltop has about 1,000 topics, so it's unlikely that there's a topic that Alltop doesn't have. And by definition, if Alltop has a topic which is incorporating the RSS feeds of the best blog about that topic, we pretty much have it covered. That's why I can find so much good stuff for social media. It's because Alltop is just key to my existence.
That's awesome. Thanks. I'll definitely use that as a tip in my next training on listening.
All right. Thank you.
Great question, Jen, and we'll include that in the recap post that we're writing as well.
Is it my turn now?
Sure, go for it.
Hi, Guy.
Hi.
I'm David. I'm a nerd. And as I like social media a lot, my question would be, or if you have any recommendation, if a person like me is posting about a wide variety of topics, like I do study nanostructure and molecular sciences, but I'm also very much into social media and into politics. And what is your recommendation? As I could use circles on Google+, but I also want to share as much as I can as public for everyone. So what would be your recommendation for that?
Well, I am 99% public and 1% community as opposed to circle. So I'm either blasting it to everybody or to a private community called Ape, and this private community of Ape on Google Plus is only for writers, editors, and designers. So that's how I've chosen to segregate my life. It has worked extremely well because in the Ape community, where I want to post only about writing, which is not relevant to 5 million of my other closest friends, that has worked well. So have you tried creating or joining an Ape, a Google Plus community?
Yes, I have. I've read your book. It's extremely awesome. I know all your basic tips, but I think people following me for a specific topic. So I don't know if I post too much of one topic, and I use communities as well. Yeah.
Yeah, my attitude is that. Listen, I get my share of negative feedback, shall I say? I get my share of hate, and I just let it just not even faze me. It just goes right past me. I believe, if you have 5 million people who have circled you, or 5 million friends, or whatever, you're going to piss off somebody every day. And I figure if I piss off 50 people a day, it'll still take 10,000 days to piss them all off. So that's a long time. So like I'll give you a good example. So I really am supporting gun control. I think it's absolutely ludicrous that people can buy semi-automatic weapons and they can buy clips that have 30 bullets in them. And so, to put it mildly, when you come across that strongly, and I was even on a Hangout on air with Joe Biden, so when you do it that strongly, just suffice it to say that there are a lot of experts in constitutional law on Google+. And they're all worried about their Second Amendment because someday, Barack Obama may go crazy and he'll send SEAL Team 6 to attack your house. And if that's the case, you want to be able to defend yourself from the totalitarian government. So you're going to whip out that semi-automatic weapon that you bought from Walmart, and you're going to take on SEAL Team 6 and defend your house. So obviously I've gotten a lot of very negative comments, but I'm 58 years old. I just let it rip. I mean, when you're younger than I am, but I like 2/3 of my life is over. So 2/3 of my life is over. I don't give a shit. You don't like what I post, don't read my posts. And if it gets really like they're really like heinously attacking me, I just block them. I don't care. That's just, life is too short to deal with assholes.
Thank you.
That's quite a tweetable moment.
Well, it's going to be a long time before Wayne Lapierre and I share a Hangout on air. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I won't hold my breath. Sorry, Jennifer Goss, I know you had a question you wanted to ask.
That's actually a good segue to my question. And you were talking about it earlier, Guy, where you were saying, like, what kind of content do you post and what kind of reactions do you get? And one of them is, there's controversial content, meaning that it's going to stir up debate, versus just your general informational and sort of like, this is who I am, so I'm sharing this information, or this is what my business is. So do you have a specific strategy for how much, are you really thinking about how much controversial, or let's just say conversation engaging topics that you post versus how much informational?
Well, I don't think there's a hard, fast dichotomy between controversial and informational. To me, like, I would not post something just to get 700 comments that are angry, okay? I post stuff that I view as informational, but I don't hesitate if it's informational and controversial. So, for example, to take an extreme, when the NRA produced that video that says, Barack Obama has armed guards for his daughters, but he doesn't think you should have armed guards for your kids. Barack Obama cares more about his kids than your kids. That NRA video. So I posted a link to that YouTube video because I thought that was informational and it would be controversial. So I don't do things for the controversy. I do things because I think it's informational. I obviously have a particular slant. You may not agree with it, but that's my slant. And as far as I know, circling me is a voluntary act. I'm not forcing you to circle me, right? So the test for me is it informational? And if you really want to know the way I work, so I use a Nexus 7. And this is getting into the realm of TMI, but I don't sleep very well these days, so I have my Nexus 7 right next to my bed table here, and like around 3 o'clock in the morning or so, I usually get up and I say, so let's just see what's happening in the world. So I go to my alt-top page and I find interesting stuff, and then what I do is I share it to a circle of 1. So the circle of 1 is me. And so at 3 a.m. I find an interesting story. I use Chrome on a Nexus 7. I share it to the circle that only contains Guy Kawasaki. I go back to sleep. Then I wake up in the morning, And then I say, oh, so let's go look at my timeline. And my timeline has this story that I found at 3 a.m., but it's only shared to me. So that shared to me is used as a sort of draft place that now when I'm cogent, I can do the screen grab. I wake up, I share that story and erase the post that was shared just to me. So that's just a method I use to share to myself when I find good stuff to post later.
That's actually really helpful. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any more questions?
I was on mute. Anyone else care to ask? I don't know, William, if you had one. If not, Guy, you're welcome to tell us a bit more about your book and let people know where they can find said wonderful book.
Okay, thank you. So my most recent book is called APE. It stands for Author, Publisher, Entrepreneur. It's co-written with Sean Welch. And it's being marketed by myself and Sean and Peg Fitzpatrick, who is my social media samurai ninja guru, and also Tara Kusumoto. The premise of APE is that self-publishing should be called artisanal publishing, and that this artisanal publishing is a way to truly control the craft of your publishing. And if you truly control the craft of your publishing, the totality is that you have authoring, which is writing, you have publishing, which is producing and laying it out, and you have entrepreneuring, which is sales and marketing. And so what APE tries to do is to make that entire process from the beginning to the end of the book completely transparent with all the tips and all the things that we've learned. The book is really a tome. It's about 400 pages in paper, and it is not something that's get rich quick, in 60 days write a book and sell 1 million copies and you'll be a millionaire. It's not like that at all. It really is a very serious book. I would like it to be like the Chicago Manual of Style or the Elements of Style, or How to Win Friends and Influence People and last for decades. Of course, if it does last for decades, it means that Sean and I have to revise it constantly because much of the technology of self-publishing is changing constantly. In the first 50 days, we've probably had 4 versions already. It got so ridiculous that we're changing it, so we decided that we would do a monthly revision of the book. And then I thought, so we got to do something better than, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1-5. Then I thought, well, what does Google do? So Google says, okay, so it's ice cream sandwich, and then it's jelly bean, and the next one is, I don't know, whatever begins with K. And
Key
so
lime
they
pie.
name it, I'm sorry?
Key lime pie is the name.
Key lime, right. And so I thought, well, we got to do something clever like that too. So now our monthly updates are named after the last name of famous authors. So we just did a version called the Austin version, as in Jane. And next month it'll be David Baldacci, so it'll be the Baldacci version. And then it'll be Tom Clancy. And D, I don't know if we have figured out a D yet. So we'll just keep going like that. So the bottom line on APE is, we're trying to empower people to self-publish their books. And it's available only on Amazon right now. That's it.
Still on mute. Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today, Guy. I always learn
Thank you.
so much valuable information from you, so it's no coincidence that over so many years I've continued to follow it and learn from you.
Thanks. I'm sorry about the horrible lighting, but I just reoriented my office, and it's the first time I did it in the morning, so the sun is shining right on my face.
You look angelic. That's really what it is.
This is my new Instagram look.
Yeah, I think you do need to take a picture and post it. No filter needed.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so
have
much.
a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.